Welcome everyone to my new and small channel. I appreciate the like and subscribe and comment to help me grow it out more. So let's get into the video. Greetings everybody. This is a 3-part video series where we will be looking at Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, and starting in this video with Malik Nabors and answering the question, how much more NFL ready are they compared to the other receivers in a deep draft class? And what can fans of the teams that draft them expect out of them in their rookie year? To start off, in this play we have Nabers motioning across the formation pre-snap and running a simple flat route. Even with Terrion Arnold defending him, who is an elite talent at corner in this draft, he takes a safe angle around his teammate because he respects Nabers' speed, which allows Nabers to get open in the flat for an easy completion on third down, reaching the line to gain. This is a common play in the NFL, especially in the scripted plays in the first few drives, and is definitely going to be an asset for any team that he joins. In this next play, we see Nabers in the slot running a deep cross across the middle against zone coverage. Not only does he work his way across to find the opening in the zone, but he also shows his ability to get out of ankle tackles. And if he can continue to do this in the NFL, combined with how fast he is, it will really make him an excellent yard after the catch receiver and could even break free for some long touchdowns. We can see in the close-up view how quickly Nabers drops his hips, allowing him to make his cut quickly. In addition to being quick, he is a very fluid route runner, especially when working against zone defenders. This is one of the reasons why he is in the conversation for the best wide receiver in the draft. This next play also shows Nabers here in the slot with one-on-one coverage from the safety in soft coverage. While this is a blown play, even it is obvious how much more talented he is than the Alabama secondary, and just shows you the talent gap that he will have against most defenses in the NFL. Of course, there will be certain teams that can match him up one-on-one, but that is not all that common, and it's going to force most teams to have to dictate their coverage to make sure that he doesn't get open downfield for huge plays. So in this play, Nabers is one-on-one with the corner in tight but not press coverage and shows off his ability for contested catches, similar to what A.D. Mitchell showed against Alabama. I did a breakdown of his a few weeks ago, and if you haven't seen that video yet, check it out. But as the play develops, we can see a slight hesitation move and then breaks downfield. Nabers makes the catch, and even though the Alabama defender's hand is right there, you can see that while this is a catch in college, in the NFL it wouldn't be complete because he didn't get 2 feet down. In his film, he didn't really show a ton of ability to do any toe drags, and I don't know if it's something that he just doesn't do well, or just doesn't need to in college, but regardless, it's something that he's going to need to work on or it's going to really affect his ability to be a good receiver in the NFL. Okay, so in this next play, Nabers shows his ability to get open when a QB is scrambling, a must-have for receivers in the modern NFL game. So here we have Nabers at the bottom of the screen here. He runs upfield about 10 yards and then breaks across the middle, similar to what we saw earlier in the video. So as he breaks across, a defender is there waiting for him, and we get to see him work his way around the defender and show himself open to the QB who sees him and hits him for a huge gain. What's really, really impressive about this is that he's quick to jump around the defender, he gets open, and then he signals to the QB and even fights back to the ball to make a spectacular catch going to the ground. It's really an amazing play that really shows off a lot of his physical traits and abilities. So fighting back for the ball is something he showed off a few times in this game. Here again, we have Nabers in the slot running a go route towards the sideline, and as the play developed, the ball is underthrown, allowing the defenders to close in on him, but he fights back for the ball, has a chance to catch it, but isn't able to, but make sure that no one else is able to pick it off either. It's a really good play, and something that's really going to be a heady move that he's going to need to be able to show in the NFL. Although Nabers' drop rate is pretty low, it was only 4.9%, it's much better than his teammate Brian Thomas Jr., who had a 7.4% drop rate over the last few years. In this game, Thomas Jr. had a really bad drop where he tried to catch it against his body rather than using his hands to catch the ball. So we can see here in this play, he runs a simple comeback route, and it just hits him in the shoulder instead of him being able to catch it with his hands. So Nabers is really sure-handed with his catch, but that does not mean that he's impervious to getting the ball knocked out. Here, he kind of takes the wrong angle to the ball, and the defender is able to get his hand in and knock the ball out. So definitely it's not something that he's perfect in, not that any receiver is, but something that he could try to work on as he enters the NFL. So all in all, who was the best receiver, Nabers or Harrison Jr.? I think it really depends on which style of receiver you prefer. Harrison is a much more fluid route runner who has sure hands, but might be limited in his willingness to put his body on the line for certain interceptions. Nabers is also a good route runner, even if he's not as fluid as Harrison. Is still good downfield and maybe more well-rounded receiver who isn't able to jam off the line. It's clear that he will be a good pro, but how high his ceiling is will depend on developing his route tree, maybe adding more nuance to how he runs routes. In this game, I didn't really see any double moves, or building off of those might really help him raise his ceiling dramatically. So he's definitely going to be a great pro, definitely worthy of a top 10 pick. But how high that ceiling is really going to depend on how willing he is to develop after getting drafted in the NFL.